And we're working. Work, 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 work. Alright, and welcome back, and here we are today. And today I'm going to prune it, and I'm going to wire it, and I'm going to work. There's two scars. There's a scar here and a scar here. I'm going to wait till I can get a little bit of a better camera angle for you to show you those a little bit. But first thing I'm going to do is prune it, especially this long one here. After I prune it, I should be able to get a little bit of a better, closer up camera angle to kind of finish things up. And take this long leader off. I haven't touched the tree for 2 months. I've been letting it run for a little bit. So I'm going to take that off down to there. And then there, and then I've just actually been noticing that the tree's been putting a ton of energy into this branch and this branch. And the rest of them, I mean, it's growing, it's healthy, but it really hasn't been putting like out all that much, 2 months worth of growth. I do rotate it around quite a bit, try to get the sun from all angles and everything. It makes a ton of figs. I'll show you one here in a minute. These are inedible figs, but it is a ficus tree. They are obviously figs, but it makes a ton of them, and it doesn't seem to grow as much as it makes figs, but it's okay. I mean, you saw those before pictures. It's actually thickened up quite a bit in the pot. I'm very happy with the development. I'm starting to like this tree a lot. But I have those two pieces there that have just been kind of outgrowing the rest of the tree along with that apex. And then I'm just going to hit a couple more. I noticed that this one already has some good, two branches coming off this one branch up here, but there was also some coming straight up off the middle of it. And a couple others in here. I'm just going to kind of, sometimes you notice a couple of them just kind of outperforming the other ones. Once I get some wire on it, I might notice some more spots like that. And kind of prune it as I wire it too. But alright, and right now we have a little bit of an awkward angle that I'm looking at here, but I just wanted to show you what I'm going to be working on and then zoom in on it a little bit. This is one of the scars. The other one's a little hidden by the foliage, so I'm just going to work on this one first. But this is one of the scars. This is actually the cutting that I took that I did the emergency repot on the other day. If I remember, I'll put the link in the description or whatever, but that was the cutting that I took. And you can see where it's just almost made like a flat side there. I was hoping that when I let this piece run for a little bit, that it would just heal it up a little bit better than it is. But if I turn it around here, and let's see if I can zoom in a little bit better. Give you guys a good a little bit of a better look at it there. Get that piece out of the way. But what I'm going to do today is the middle of the wood is dead. That'll always be dead. But there's an ant. But the outside is still alive, and you can see where it just kind of, here with the with the live piece coming out, it'll kind of roll over. And if I do this, just kind of lightly scrape with my knife a little bit, you should be able to see that it'll start turning green right around the edge. That's just where I've hit some live stuff. And then that just kind of reactivates the wound a little bit. It seems kind of counterintuitive to say you're going to take a knife to a wound to heal it up a little bit, but that's basically what we're doing here. And so I'll just hit all the way around there with the knife. I am sure I will wind up editing quite a bit of that time of me scraping the wound out, but I even worked on the upper one some, which wouldn't even been in the camera the way I had it zoomed in. But you can see there where I just kind of worked it around to hit some live tissue. The live tissue will then in turn kind of roll over a little bit more. I've worked this in with the Dremel quite a bit before. I didn't want to work it in anymore. I don't want it any flatter than it already is. It's one of the problem spots on the tree. Hopefully, just time will take care of it. I think it will. And then here's the other one. I didn't work it near as much. I'm not nearly as concerned with this. This one still has the apex to kind of, this is at the top of the tree here. I worked it more on this side. This side had a lot of dead tissue, like bark around there or whatever. This side, because I've got, let's see, can't really get a good angle here, but I got this branch and the apex branch coming out of there. So I didn't worry about that side as much. That's how you can help the wounds roll themselves over a little bit more, just kind of work them a little bit. And now we're going to get to wiring. Alright, and before I start wiring, in the before pictures that I put before the video here, I should have mentioned the two wedge cuts that I did. The two wedge cuts are actually this branch and this branch. And the wedge is, I took a saw under here and a saw under here, and I bent them both down. They were both like facing up like this. And it was one of these things of where I read on a forum or whatever, if you've got the branches in the wrong place, the wrong angle and everything, sometimes it's just best to start over. But it was really, at that point, almost the only two real branches that the tree had. I didn't want to lose them all together. And I had seen that technique where you just kind of take a saw and cut from underneath, make a little room there, and then wire it down. They're both, obviously coming back up a little bit, but when I do wire them, I want to be kind of careful because they can rip from the top, which this one on this side did a little bit when I wired it the first time. It's healed up, it's fine now, and that's actually kind of why I've just taken a little time here and left it alone for a couple of months, because it was ripping at the top a little bit. So when I wire it, I want to be careful I don't bend that one too far. You don't want to rip the top one, although I do want it out. I really am probably just going to try to flatten everything out, put a little more movement. There's plenty of movement in these pieces here, but just put a little more in there. I do have, the apex and then this branch are probably the two thickest branches. So I think I've got a big piece of heavy wire. I'm going to wire these two together, and then these two, and then the rest of them I'll just, after I get that kind of done, I'll have to wire this main one up and this one, and then the two that I put the wedge cuts on, and then everything else I'll just have to make decisions as I go. We'll use much smaller wire for everything else. Anyway, I've got a piece here. I got a used piece I'm going to get started with. It's probably a little longer than I need, but it's better than starting off with some newer stuff or whatever. And I'm going to get going here. I don't have any old wired scars on this one to worry about. There are some old scars. You can see them already crisscrossing where I've had it on there opposite ways both times, but nothing recent, so I'm not going to worry about which way I go. I'm just going to start going here. So, all right, we're all wired up and ready for some bending, but I did tell you guys I'd show you the figs, and there's a bunch of them. I just tried to save a little handful to show you what they look like. Before I was into bonsai, I didn't even know that ficus trees were fig trees. Most ficus are not the edible kind, but the fig trees that you do eat are the edible kind or whatever. But anyhow, I did wind up, I used the heavier wire for the apex, this, and these two branches that I actually had the wedge cuts in. But what I wound up doing is basically I wired this lower piece up with this one over here that I had the wedge cut on, and then the other one that I had the wedge cut on with the apex. Just changed it up a little bit. I actually kind of saw some of the wire scars that were there before, tried to change it up just a little bit. So I'm going to start on the bottom, trying to, it's probably hard for you to see at that angle. I'll try to show you at the end maybe or something, but there is already quite a bit of movement to it. You know, if you guys saw at the beginning of the video, you saw that I let it run way out. And as I kind of shortened it up, I tried to get some movement in as I did that, because I know that if you don't, it will just be a pole straight, you know, shoot or whatever. But try to put a little more into it, and also try to get it out of that tropical look of just the thing sticking straight up looking for the sun. This, you know, in terms of trying to make it look like an old bonsai or whatever, or an old tree. Sorry, not an old bonsai, but an old tree. And don't really think I got some. I mean, where it was before, it was sticking up like that, so I mean, I have made quite a big of a difference. I don't want to push my luck with it too much, so I think that's going to be good there. And then the two that kind of branched off the one with the wedge cut, just kind of want to fill in some empty space there with that one. Then, I mean, real quick here, this guy is almost just so spindly that, you know, just such a small branch, I almost decided just to take it out. But I mean, it's in a good place, but it's just so small compared to everything else. But I mean, it's healthy, definitely bendable, so try to put some dramatic movement in it and a frame. And then this guy, there's a little negative space over there. I'm gonna go that way with it, and then let's put some movement in that one and down a little, and then maybe go down and up just a little bit. Yeah, that looked up to, yeah, see that up a little bit too much there. I don't really want to come that far down. Yeah, I can do that and come a little more up with it. Well, I do hate this big gap in here. I'm hoping maybe after I cut that off, maybe I'll get something in there. I didn't mention it before, I had actually planned on letting that come out, and I was trying to graft a piece in there, but quite honestly, if no bud branches in here, I might even wind up just making this tree this tall one day. I know I'm not going to really, you know, as I think about when I try to just get it in a spot where, you know, it's more finished, if you will, which a bonsai is really never finished, but I'm thinking about this high altogether, but I do like to leave a little bit up there. I didn't put any wire up there, so, you know, just in case, it'll at least have growth coming, sap flowing through the wounds there that I'm trying to heal and everything, but I did wire these two up. And since these are new and very young, the main idea there would just be some movement. And just some different angles to look at here. All around the big scars.